Okay, today's daf is daf Kuf Yud Ches. We're going to begin daf Kuf Yud Zayin Amud Beis by the Mishnah. So the Mishnah, Shtafa Nahar, if a river flooded and ruined the field. Yeah, by the Mishnah. No. Kuf Yud Zayin by the Mishnah, the last Mishnah. Okay, Shtafa Nahar, if the river flooded. Yeah, the river flooded. So now the robber can say to the owner, the robber can say to the owner, that which is years before you, and he doesn't have to pay. Now, since the field would have been flooded in any case, you stole the field, he didn't cause any damage to the field, and therefore he's potter. Take it back. Yeah. The case of one who robbed a field from another and a river, then flooded it, the robber is chayav to provide the field owner with a different field. Rabbi says, here is before you. What are they arguing? Now, Rabbi interprets the ribu and miyat. The Torah says, and deal falsely with his neighbor, that's a ribu. Mipikadon is a miyat. My Rabbi Kolel mili. He needs everything. My miyat studies, it's restricted to documents which are not similar to a pikadon, in that their value is not, there's no really value, but rather it's the star, it's due to the function. According to Rabbi, karka that was stolen is included in the halachas in this pasuk, and one who steals land has to reimburse the field's owner. Now, with Abana Darshi, the Chacham say, Klali a parshi, the klal of prat, the sinus is a klal because it's a prat, oy mikoil is a klal of prat, is a prat, which means, ma prat, davar metal the begufim moment, just as in regards to the detail of deposit is movable property and has intrinsic monetary value, so to anything that is movable property and has intrinsic monetary value. Also, karka is to exclude karka is in metalflin, which is not movable property. So about it. Halachas ain't goof and moment, they have no intrinsic value. Further, what about the Tanya we learned in a Raisa, in the case of one who robbed another account, a river washed it away. The robbers tries to provide the owner with another account. So also, Michael, what are they arguing? When a papa also my skinon, then she goes to the you tell with the case where he had robbed another field and there was there was a prone cow in it, and the river washed it away. The Rabbi Tamei, goes based on his reasoning, but next Mishnah. A person who robs another or borrowed money from him, or with whom another had deposited items, if any of these took place, be Yishuv in the settled area, you should not return it to him in a midbar, where it's a little benefit to the owner and he cannot safeguard. So if a person robs from his friend, or he borrowed money from him, or he has another person's deposit, don't give it back to him in a lose it. Yeah, don't give it to him. Now, if the loan of the deposit was given, amanas lost by midbar on condition that the recipient may go out and return it to the owner in an unsettled area. Yachsel by midbar, you may return it to him in an unsettled area. So the Gemara says, I'm going to ask a contradiction from the Mishnah to the Mishnah from Abraisa. Alone may be repeated in any location. Because the Mishtam album came in. By lost item and deposit are returned only in their location. In other words, the same type of place, settled or unsettled, where they are found or received. Amar Abaya said, and this is what the Rice is saying. A loan may be claimed by the creditor in any location. But if the borrower initiates the process of repaying the loan in a midbar, the creditor may refuse to accept the repayment until he comes to a settled area. However, because when the came in, a lost item and a deposit may be claimed only in their location. The Mishnah teaches that if the loan or the deposit was given on condition that the recipient may go out to return it to the unsettled area, he may do so. It's obvious. We made it tonight. That's what is the Amrale talking about whether the depositor said to the shamer, let the deposit be with you, as I'm going to an unsettled area. And the shamer said to him, I also need to go out to the midbar. If I need to return the deposit to you, then I will. I will return it to you. The next Mishnah, person who says to another, Gizalticha, I robbed you, Lisani, or you lent me money, you deposited it to me, I do not know if I returned your property to you or if I did not return it to you. Allah is Chayv he has to pay the sum of a item in question, because I'll remember any day if he says, I don't know if I robbed you or you lent me money, or I don't know if you deposited an item with me, but he's put there from paying the sum of item in question.
In theory, it tells you that I did, so you have to pay.
Yeah, because he's not sure of all you say, then he doesn't have to pay anything. So the more he's mar with her, it's monthly biyotcha. The person says to another, I have 100 dinners in your possession. And the other person says, I don't know whether or not this is true. I have to pay the so what happened? The guy says, I have 100 dinners in your possession. The guy says, so Rav Huna says he has to pay. Rav Nachman writes, if you have somebody who's a buddy and somebody who's a shema, we know a certain person is superior. Why? Because established the money in the possession of his owner. Money is not taken from one's possession without clear proof that he's time to pay for it. The one brings a raya. Now with our din and Mishnah, I remember any day in Bilbisani. He says, I don't know if you let me or not. So the Allah is putter. He is putter from paying. So the Gemara says, hey, tell me, what are the circumstances? If we say that the Mishnah is discussing a case where the lender did not claim the money from him, so therefore the first case of the Mishnah also discusses a case where the lender did not claim the money from him. So my chayav, if so, why is the borrower chayav to pay in the case discussed in the first Mishnah? Rather, the Mishnah must be discussing a case where the lender did claim the money from him. And yet, what do we say? So we see this is supports Rav Nachman and Rabbi Yechon's review. But the Gemara says no. The Mishnah is talking about a case where the lender did not claim the money from him. But Isha is talking about is just saying Bava lotzes yidei shemayim, where the borrower comes to fulfill his obligation in the shemayim. Now we learned next Mishnah again. If in the case of one who stole a lamb from a flock and returned it, so he stole a lamb from a flock and returned it without informing the owner that he had done so. And then what happened? And then it died or it was stolen. Allah is the Ganav is chayav to pay restitution for it. If the lamb's owner did not know about the entire incident, they didn't know that it was stolen, and they didn't know if it was returned, and they counted the flock of sheep and found it whole, part of the Ganav is putter from paying.
He stole it, and then now let's say he back.
He didn't know about the whole situation. He took it, but
Dallas took it,
and the Bailam didn't know anything about it.
What happened now?
And they counted the flock of sheep and found it whole.
So did the Balabus, did the Gallup take or do take?
He took it, but he gave it back. Okay, let's say I think the Gemara is going to discuss it. What? Oh, the Bailam didn't know about it. So the lamb's owner did not know about the entire incident. They didn't know about it was stolen. They didn't know it was returned. They counted and it was found whole. The Ganav was part of the
Ganav doesn't know what go they got, and we're talking about the boss that ignored.
Yeah. Okay. Amar Rav. So the Gemara says like this. Amar Rav says, Ladas, in the case where the owner had knowledge of the fact that the lamb was stolen, so if Das, the thief, is required to return it with the knowledge of the owner in order to be parted from liability if the lamb is harmed. Das, in the case of the owner, in the case where the owner had no knowledge that the lamb was taken, meaning potter, the count of the flock after the thief returned it as potter, it exempts the thief from further liability. Now, and that the Mishnah says, and they counted the flock of sheep and found it whole. That Asif is referring specifically to the later case, the case where the owner is unaware of the lamb was stolen, as specifically in that case that counts the tour of the thief from liability. Shmuel says, Ben Das special Das is meaning potter. Potter is talking about Kula. Rabbi Yechon Das, in the case where the owner had knowledge of the theft, minion is pater. Their count of the flock exempts the thief. And Shalei Das, in the case where the owner had no knowledge of the theft, then if the minion amulets are even counting is not required for the thief to be potter. And when it says in the count of the flock of sheep and found it whole, it's referring to the first case of the Mishnah, as particularly in that case that the count is relevant. Chizda says, Ladas, in the case In the case of the owner had knowledge of the theft, minyan peter, the count of the flock exempts the thief. So the das, in the case of the owner had no knowledge, then tzar das, the thief is required to return the lamb with the knowledge in order to become pater from further damage. One is going on our ratio. Amar Rava says, my time of the Rav Chisda, what's the reason the Rav Chisda holds that the requirement to return the animal with the owner's knowledge in the case where the owner did not know about the theft? Since the thief taught the lamb to take steps outside, in other words, to leave the owner's property, so will now require greater supervision, which the owner can provide only if they are aware of the situation. He say this? Rav says, in a case where a person who saw another lift the lamb from his flock in order to steal it, and then he raised his voice at the thief, and the ganav. So what happened? He discarded it. The owner, the owner did not know if the thief returned the lamb or did not return it. So and then the lamb and daughter were stolen. The ganav is to pay restitution. My love, I'll forgive the mini. Is this not applicable even if the owner counted his flock after the incident? So where says the is talking about where the owner did not count the flock. The Rav actually says in a case if the ganav returned the lamb to the owner's flock in a midbar is yotza. This is mashma the ganav is pater from further liability, even though the ganav did not inform the owner of the lamb's return. The owner did not count the flock. So the Rav agrees that the ganav is chayiv in the case only where the lamb was spotted. Since the lamb's spots were distinctive, the owner immediately becomes aware of its return.
He recognized.
Yeah. So the Gemara says, let us say that it's a machlekes tanaim, again talim and eder. One who steals a lamb from a flock, we sell him in a case, or a seller from a purse. So all of it is, he has to return to the place where he stole it. The thief is required to return it with the knowledge of its owner. Now the Gemara says, Savru, the Chacham discussed this matter, assume that that the Kulam is the Rabbi Yitzchak. Everybody agrees, like Rabbi Yitzchak, the Rabbi Yitzchak, Adam also the Mashma from the Kisei B'chol Shah. A person is prone to feel his purse constantly, and therefore becomes aware of the theft as soon as it takes place. My lab is seller das. Is it not the case where the seller was stolen with the owner's knowledge? This dispute of Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Akiva is parallel to the dispute of Rav and Shmuel. According to this explanation, Rav rules according to the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, and Shmuel rules according to the opinion of Rabbi Shmuel. What's his late? But Tadash das. We're talking about a case where the lamb was stolen without the knowledge of his owner. In other words, they did not know that it was stolen. And they argue in the machlekes of Rav Chisda and Rav Echon. And Rav Chisda rules according to the opinion of Rabbi Akiva that the lamb must be returned with the owner's knowledge. Rabbi Echon rules according to the opinion of Rabbi Shmuel that the owner did not need to become aware of the owners of the lamb's return. In a case where the shamer who stole a lamb from the owner's reshus, everyone agrees that the halachas and according to the Chisda, and here it's with regards to a shamer who stole it from his own domain, may return it, what he stole to the place from where he stole it, they disagree. Rabbi Akiva holds his safeguarding was terminated when he stole the lamb, and he must therefore return it with the owner's knowledge. Shmuel holds his safeguarding was now terminated, and he may return it to his own domain. Let us say that with regards to the machlekes of whether the owner's counting of his flocks is exempt, exempts a ganev who returns the stolen item without notifying is Tanai is a machlekes Tanai. The Tanya, we learned in the Brisa, one who robbed another and then if a person robbed another and then included the money he owed for the robbery in calculation of the payment of a different transaction, he compensated the owner by overpaying him, let's say, a different transaction. So one says he's Yetzer, Tani Daf Yotza. So this is Savroa, they assume this. The Kulam is the also Adam Mashmer Shagis B'Chol Shah. So my lab Hakim, if one of the arguing, the man Damar he saw Yotza Savar Minyan Peter. He holds that the one who holds that he's Yotza, he will hold that counting of the property exempts a robber from further liability. And the man Damar Levza Savar Minyan Peter, and the one who holds that he's not Yotza holds that counting does not exempt a robber from further liability. So Amri, they said, if we held in accordance to the opinion of Yitzchak, the Minyan Peter. Everyone agrees that the counting of the property exempts the robber for further liability. You may say, the first price, which rules that the robber fulfills his obligations, discussing a case where the robber counted the money and placed it directly in the owner's purse, which the owner was open and count. But the money is normally the other. And the other price, which rules that the robber did not fulfill his obligation, is discussing a case where he counted the money and placed it in the owner's hand. So it's possible the owner will put the money directly in a container with other coins and not realize that he was compensated for the theft. Anybody say another answer? Either the mini rome bekise. Both cases where the robber counted the money and placed it in the owner's purse. So the price discusses is where he has other dinners in his purse, but he did not know how many. So therefore, when he counts the money, he will not realize that the robber inserted the additional sum. Whereas the price is discussing a case where he does not have dinners in his purse, so that when he counts the money, he'll realize that additional sum that has been included in the payment. Okay, that's Mishnah. One may not purchase. You're not allowed to buy from shepherds. You're not allowed to purchase wool, milk, and kids from the shepherds. Why? Because these tend the flocks of others. Because we're concerned that they stolen these items from the owners of the flocks. And similarly, one may not purchase wood. And you're not allowed to purchase wood and produce from produce watchmen. You're allowed to purchase from women. You're allowed to purchase from women woolen goods in Yehuda, and linen goods in Galilee, and calves in Sharon. As women in these locations often work with these commodities, and it can be assumed that they are selling the items with the owner's consent. With regard to all these items, in case where the seller told the buyer to conceal the purchase, it's Oster. Yeah, Zog garnished. And you're allowed to purchase eggs and chickens from anywhere. It's unlikely that one who stole was the one who would steal, and the person would steal and sell these commodities. One may purchase. You're not allowed to purchase from shepherds neither goats, nor kids, nor fleeces, nor torn pieces of wool. But you're allowed to purchase sewn garments from them, because they are presumed to be theirs. One may purchase milk and cheese from them in a midbar, but not in a yishuv. Now, you may purchase from them 4 or 5 sheep, or 4 or 5 fleeces at a time, because it's unlikely that a shepherd would risk stealing such a significant quantity at once. But one may not purchase 2 sheep, and similar, one may not purchase 2 fleeces at a time. Right, because it's reasonable to assume the shepherd would attempt to steal this amount from the owner. Okay, Rabbi says, by Yosis leichem one may purchase by Yosis, yeah? One may purchase domesticated animals from them. It's unlikely that shepherds will steal them from their owners, because they'll notice if they were not returned home. It's baris ein leichem. One may not purchase desert, in other words, non-domesticated animals from them, as it's likely that the shepherd would steal these animals. This is the general principle. The halacha is that anything that the shepherd sells and the owner would perceive its absence that was stolen, then you can purchase from them. But if the owner would not perceive its absence, then you may not purchase it from them. Okay, we'll stop here. Tomorrow we'll finish.